Available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Dark Incubus in paperback and e-readers today. I was on Facebook last Friday when MadBlack80 posted up a meme designed by white supremacists to try to demonize the image of black rapper Kid Cudi. Now, this meme was designed to try to make rapper Kid Cudi look like the face of sexual predation because it was talking about how he participated in a sex scene in the movie X with actress Jenna Ortega when she was 19 years old. Now, what these white supremacists wanted to do with this meme was try to build on a controversy that was presented in the pages of the Daily Mail tabloid back in February of 2024, when the Daily Mail wanted to try to create a controversy over Kid Cudi participating in this sex scene with Jenna Ortega far back as possibly 2020 or 2021 when they were filming the movie X, which basically came and went 2 years ago. And what they were hoping to do with this whole article was trying to create a whole controversy by trying to make it like Kid Cudi, the 37-year-old rapper at the time, was some sort of sexual predator for participating in a film with 19-year-old Jenna Ortega. Now, this whole narrative is complete BS because, one, Jenna Ortega was of legal age to sexually consent to a film and participate in a sex scene, and two, it's also complete BS because this whole narrative is one that just makes no logical sense when you understand how the business of film and TV work. Now, as somebody who has studied the entertainment industry and been studying it for over 30 years, I can tell you this plan to try to make Kid Cudi into a brute makes no logical sense because Kid Cudi has no real power or control over what goes on in a film that he is contractually obligated to. Now, when it comes to films and TV shows, the two people who have the most power are the executive producer and the director, and they have the final say over what gets filmed and what gets presented in the final cut of a film. So the people who these white supremacists really want to have a beef with is not Kid Cudi. No, if you want to have a beef with someone, have a beef with the director, Ty West, and have a beef with the screenwriter, who is also Ty West, and have a beef with the executive producers, who are Ty West, Jacob Jaffe, and the late Kevin Turin and Harrison Crease. These are the three individuals that you need to go and have a beef with, because it was these three individuals who were the ones who had the final say over what went on in the film X and what was actually shot in the film X. Those are the people you have a beef with. You have a beef with the screenwriter. You have a beef with the executive director. You have a beef with the executive producer. These are the people you should be having a beef with, these white and non-black men. But going out and trying to go after those men would actually mean that these white supremacists would have to actually confront another white or a person of a certain religion, but they don't want to do that. So what they do here is make Kid Cudi into the scapegoat as related to this overall whole controversy that they're trying to manufacture. And I say try to manufacture because out of the entire cast of this film, I find it interesting that they go only after Kid Cudi as the only person they're going after in this film. I mean, he's the only guy you're going after on this film as related to this controversy, but you ain't going after any of the other cast members, and that really just shows how racist these individuals are as related to this narrative. It just shows how racist these individuals are. You want to try to make it like the black man who's into a black brute for participating in a sex scene for a film he was cast in as related to this overall project, but you ain't got a beef with Ty West, the director and the screenwriter, as related to this film that he wrote and the scene that he basically put together in his own film. And you don't have a beef with the producers Jacob Jaffe, Harrison Creese, and the late Kevin Turin. No, you don't have a beef with any of those individuals. It's just the black man that you're singling out and trying to make it like he's some sort of pervert or sexual deviant for participating in a sex scene for a film that he basically was cast in and contractually obligated to do. No, you got the beef with him, but you don't have a beef with the people who made the film, and that's where the racism lies as related to this film. And it also shows the clear double standard that's going on in Hollywood as related to Kid Cudi, the black man in this situation, because everybody's getting upset over the black man participating in a sex scene with a woman who is 19 years old and of legal age, but nobody's getting upset over a sex scene that Jenna Ortega participated in almost 2 years later in a film with a 52-year-old white man, Martin Freeman, in the movie Miller's Girl. I find it interesting that people are basically silent over the film that Jenna Ortega participated in a sex scene with a 52-year-old man with gray hair and tinsel on his testicles. But with the black man, they want to create a controversy to make it like he's the face of sexual predation. But the white man, who is over 50 years old, they ain't got a word to say about that whole situation. And again, this is a textbook example of the kind of selective outrage that white supremacists have over non-black women and other women white women getting involved with a black man on screen, because what they don't want to see is a black man in some sort of power position in any way, shape, or form. Now, the Kid Cudi wasn't really in any sort of power position as related to life. He was just an actor acting out a sex scene as related to this whole movie X, which was about a porno movie. So it basically was a lot like Monsters Ball in that you had a black man in a so-called controversial sex scene in a movie that I never even heard about until recently. And again, a plan to try to make the black man into a image of sexual predation, when in actuality, the actual image in Miller's Girl, they're all quiet about. And again, double standard as related to black and white. And in this whole situation, what's happening here with Kid Cudi is that we see him out here in this movie, and he's basically learning the hard way about making a compromise with white supremacy. Now, with Kid Cudi, he was one of these bootlick black rappers who thought that he could go out here and make a compromise with white supremacy, because when he made an appearance on Saturday Night Live, what Kid Cudi decided to do was he decided to go on stage and put on a dress. And he thought that after he put on this dress, he would be able to make a compromise with white supremacy by being able to create a covert contract where he could get a pass, and they would go out here and leave him alone because he basically sacrificed his intangibles of black manhood, like his dignity, his self-respect, and his self-worth. He thought if he went out here and sacrificed his dignity, self-respect, and intangibles of manhood, white supremacy would give him a pass and allow him to go on to have a career in Hollywood. But we see from this controversy that they started back in February, they're not looking to go out here and honor that agreement, because whenever a black person makes a compromise with white supremacy, like Professor Black Truth has always said, one, bootlick is a job without a retirement plan, and white supremacy always breaks its tools. And that's what's happening now with Kid Cudi. They don't seek to honor the agreement that they made when he put on that dress and basically compromised his character. What they're looking to do now with Kid Cudi is basically void the agreement, and void the agreement by going out here and breaking this tool in front of the public by having him be the face of sexual predation, have him be the face of being the brute of the month, and presenting him as some sort of perverted older man who's out here having a sex scene with a younger actress, when in actuality this sex scene was something that was orchestrated by white men who were the executive producers of this film and executive producers and directors of this film, and were the ones who were in ultimate control of this film. So these were the individuals who were the actual perverts who instigated and established this sex scene between Jenna Ortega in her Sunday draws. These were the guys who basically orchestrated this scene with Jenna Ortega getting it in with a black man and acting out this scene. This was the they created in their script because they wanted to see the big black man be the big black brute in their film and wanted to see the black man be their sexual fetish. What they wanted to see was the black man being the guy with the big carbon rod that would be put in a scene with Jenna Ortega pretending to take it from in the atomic waste reactor, and seeing this older black man with this of age younger Hispanic woman was the thing that they put together, but they want to make it look like it was the black guy who basically orchestrated everything, when the black man didn't orchestrate or imagine anything at all. No, the person who imagined this scene was a white man, Ty West, who wrote the screenplay. It was Ty West who directed the screenplay, and he got financing from other white and non-black men to make this film. But nobody's talking about those guys. Nobody's making those guys the face of sexual predation for imagining this scene. Nobody's saying that these guys are basically deviants for having an older man who's 37 years old in a scene with a 19-year-old woman. Nobody's talking about that whole part of the way this film was made. No, they basically gloss over all of this and try to make a controversy regarding the 19-year-old actress being in this sex scene, but they all fall silent when the 21-year-old actress 2 years later is in a sex scene with a 52-year-old man. And this is where they all get it twisted, and again, don't want to go out here and question Jenna Ortega or question her agent for putting her in these scenes, which are designed to try to show some sort of acting range, and looks like an attempt for her to try to fast track her way into stardom, the same way Halle Berry thought that she was going to fast track her way into stardom by starring in the film Monsters Ball, which had a controversial sex scene. That's what Jenna Ortega is looking like her agent and her handlers are trying to do. What they're trying to do is trying to make it look like she's some sort of sex pot and trying to get her over by putting her in these graphic scenes that are quite disturbing to show some sort of acting range. This is a gimmick that actresses have done for years, and it really doesn't really elevate that actress or show her range. No, it's a fast-track way to get some controversy going, and that's what they're trying to do here with Kid Cudi. Way back in February, they were trying to go out and make Kid Cudi into the brute of the month, but the story didn't get that much traction, and again, didn't get that much traction because, one, Jenna Ortega was of legal age to participate in these kinds of adult scenes, And two, this film basically had already been filmed and shot 2 years ago, and she had already done another film. But I noticed, interesting enough to me, the Hispanic actress is not under the whole controversy that Halle Berry was back in 2000 when she did Monsters Ball and basically participated in a porno scene. I mean, I find it interesting that the Hispanic actress, who is young, is not in the same place that Halle Berry was, but the black woman basically is presented as some sort of Jezebel, but Jenna Ortega is still seen as an angel, again showing how white supremacy wants to promote anti-black narratives as related to the image of black people and sexuality, promoting both the stereotype of the brute and the Jezebel in the face of these two black performers. And again, both of them are bootlicks, and bootlicks learning the hard way that in the system of white supremacy, you can make all the compromises you want, but they still see you as black at the end of the day. And when it comes to bootlicks, they always break their toys and before people can turn them into a weapon. And that's what's being done here to Kid Cudi, who again went out here and did everything I put on the back blurb of The Temptation of John Haynes. Yes, he compromised his soul to try to get fame with Hollywood, and as he compromised his soul, white supremacy basically saw it as worthless, and as white supremacy saw it as worthless, they wound up breaking this tool, and that's what's being done twice as related to this whole controversy. Back in February, they restarted the controversy, so it got no traction. Then they went on to social media, and as they went on to social media, they then decided to further push this campaign to make it look like, again, Kid Cudi was the face of sexual predation for doing the same job that Billy Bob Thornton basically did with Halle Berry. I mean, Billy Bob was in his 40s when he got with the almost 30-something Halle Berry, and no controversy over there as related to that. No, they gave Halle Berry an Oscar for that performance, and nobody really cared about that out as related to the mainstream media. They said it was controversial, but they rewarded Halle Berry for it. But when a black man is presented in a scene in a movie he doesn't even own and is not even getting any money outside of a paycheck for, they want to make him into a monster. And again, I'm no fan of Kid Cudi. He's a bootlick and a clown who put a dress on Saturday Night Live, and he's seeing what happens when you emasculate yourself for white supremacy. They have no respect or regard for you, and that is shown by the way they basically wound up treating him 2 years after he made this film. 2 years after he made this film, they basically looking to destroy his career and reputation, all over a job that basically he had no control over, and that's what's happening here. And again, just shows how when you make a deal with the devils of white supremacy, you are guaranteed to go out here and get burned. Now, if you want to pick up some of my positive black fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, you can pick up the books of the SJS Direct universe, like the ISIS series, the Steam series, the John Haynes series, the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, my black vampire novel Eternal Night, my black sorority novel The Thetas, and my black business novel Recipe for Success. You can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find all of those books at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos talking about the entertainment industry, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Illuminati. The man who rules the world takes on the head of the global elite in this all-new action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes, Illuminati in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this action-packed, all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem Horror in the Hamptons in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.